Are you tired of sleepless nights? Well, today I have the ultimate solution for you. It's not going to be like super duper easy, but I'm going to give you some tangible takeaways and helpful hints on what you can actually take away and implement yourself. So, before I'm going to get into the how, I want to share with you why you want to put this as a priority. Sleep is so important, and it's one of those things that is so easy and hard to do at the same time, but it's also something that can be the key that picks the lock, the domino to everything else that you're trying to do with your work, with your potential, with your fitness. Maybe you have fat loss goals, maybe your mental health is suffering. Sleep is an antidote to so many of those things, and then there's the other side of the coin is sometimes there's insomnia. So how do you get rid of insomnia, especially when you know that that's the key that picks the lock, but it just won't go away. So it almost makes it more stressful to go to sleep because you know it's going to be a sleepless night and again and again and again. So let's just have a talk about that. We're going to sit down. I'm going to give you all of my best strategies. I'm going to share with you wins and losses I've had over the years, and let's just dive into it. Welcome to the Creative Life in Motion podcast. It's the gap between where you are and where you want to be. And I'm here to help you with your priorities, your purpose, your transformation. And we do that through scheduling, self-care, and fitness. So sleep is under definitely the category of self-care. A lot of times, I know personally myself, I've said this before, a lot of times I call it my vanity metric is kind of what gets my motivation going. And so years ago, I learned that if I were able to make a goal like to rest a little bit more, to get a good quality sleep, that it's going to help me in my fat loss goals and it's going to help me maintain a healthy body weight. So that was motivation enough for me to create kind of like a sleep routine that I could stick to. Now I'm going to share that with you in a minute, but first, instead of like a weight loss goal this year or a productivity goal this year as we head into the new year, why not make a sleep goal? Here's why I continue to practice improving my sleep and being consistent with those improvements. It's hormone regulation. When you get a good night's sleep, your hormones are regulated. Now, if you're anything like me and you're a woman and you're over 30, hormones are all over the place between 30 and 60, basically more than half our lives. So, in order to keep them regulated, sleep is one of those things that really helps things stabilize. Ghrelin is the hunger hormone. So if you are looking at, weight loss as one of your goals, it might make it a little bit harder because you're hungrier. And it also, if you're tired, you're not going to want to like exercise or feel energetic or even motivated. Which brings me to the next thing, metabolism. Quality sleep is essential for a functioning metabolism. Sleep deprivation can slow your metabolism, making it more challenging to burn calories efficiently, which is not all about burning calories. And we'll get to that later on. But energy levels, okay, that's number 3. When you're well rested, your energy is going to be higher. So you'll be more productive, you'll be happier. And as you know, exercise is one of those things that is necessary for your mental well-being and your physical well-being. Number 4 is stress reduction. If I get a good night's sleep, I'm not going to be as stressed. Poor sleep is associated with stress levels, higher cortisol. It can trigger overeating, cravings for comfort foods. So reducing stress through better sleep can actually help you make better food choices throughout the day. And number 5 is fat storage. So chronic sleep deprivation is linked to an increased tendency to store fat, especially in the abdominal area. which is associated with various health risks. Okay. As you know, while sleep alone is not going to cause you to lose fat, it can significantly influence your health and management efforts. I remember 7 or 8 years back where I was in this period of time where I was exercising quite a bit. I was a runner. I was training for half marathons and marathons. I was a fitness instructor, and I was trying to fit in my own workouts as well as walking my dog on top of everything that I was doing. And I was started to go through a period of time where I wasn't sleeping well. That's when I learned that overtraining, one of the symptoms of overtraining and doing too much for your body is insomnia. So I learned how to slow down a little bit, and I brought in all of these other habits, which I feel like most of these other habits kind of saved me through that duration and have also been saving me through the delicate time of my transition. Yes, I turned 50 this year. And I am going through the transition of perimenopause to menopause. I'm in late perimenopause. And so it's even more important right now for the sleep hygiene that I do, more like a proactive thing. I don't struggle with sleep most of the time right now. But if I continue to be proactive, maybe I'll skip insomnia. I don't know. I'm sure as heck going to try. So, I'm going to share with you 8 sleep strategies that could actually start improving your sleep tonight. Now, it's probably stuff that you've heard before. Instead of just listening and nodding your head thinking, I should do that, I want you to choose 1 or 2 things to improve. You don't have to improve everything all at once. And in fact, that could backfire, like I was talking about before. It could actually make you think about sleep when you're going to sleep and be stressed out and not be able to get to sleep. So I want you to think about the things that are actionable, but that won't be like you're massively freaking out over, oh my gosh, I got to do this, I got to do that. Like you're kind of running through a to-do list and it's stressing you out. Take a stress-free approach because the stress is not going to help you. Okay. The number one thing to do is establish a consistent sleep schedule. Now, we just had like a time change, right? And the time fell behind. And so what that means is you kind of gain an hour of sleep. And so in order to stay on the same sleep schedule, you just stick to the same time windows, right? And do your best to stick to the same time. It might take you about a week to recalibrate. A consistent sleep schedule means that you're going to bed and getting up at the same time every day, even on weekends. So, this helps to regulate your body's internal clock and improve the quality of your sleep. And it might be hard when you have children or shift work, but do your best to find a great middle ground. I remember when I was working shift work, and some nights I would work till 10, some days I would work till 7. My sleep schedule was kind of all over the place. And at that time of my life, I just said, okay, as long as I'm in bed by 11 and up by 7, I know that I'm doing well. So it was better to go with that later schedule than it was to go back and forth late, early, late, early, late, early, because then I would be dragging my butt and I would be tired. So try to kind of keep a middle ground and keep it like within 1 hour on each window of each other. And I know weekends, you want to sleep in. Don't get up at the same time and go to bed at the same time unless you have something special planned. Then, still try to get up at the same time. You might suffer a bit that day, but you'll be ready to go to bed at the right time that night. The second thing is what you need to do within the first 30 to 60 minutes of waking up. And not a lot of people talk about this, but a good night's sleep begins in the morning. You're starting to prepare your body for a good night's sleep. And so I talked about this a little bit in the Winter Blues podcast I did a little back. I'll make sure that it's linked below. But I talked about light therapy. Like if you live in an area of the world that daytime light is less in the winter, I highly recommend a happy light I will link the one that I use below in the description. And I love it. I feel like it really allows that light to come into my eyeballs and within the first 30 to 60 minutes of waking. It really significantly makes a difference in the winter months. It helps me beat the winter blues, but it also helps me with a better sleep. And as you know, those two are connected, right? When we go to the root cause, like perhaps sleep is the root cause of a lot of problems. And unless that root cause is addressed and changes are made, everything else is going to just kind of stay the same, right? So this might be the key that picks a lock for you. So let's get on to number 3. This one I kind of is a piggyback on number 1. Develop a relaxing bedtime routine. And I know routine sounds boring, so you can think of it as like a super stack or just something that you like to do, something that's yourself. Get yourself in that relaxed state. Develop something that's calming pre-sleep to signal your body that it's time to wind down. And what happens is when you do this every night in a sequence, it takes some time, but it's actually giving your body a signal that it's time to get ready for sleep. And it's kind of like a Pavlov dog effect. It might not work right away. It might take, 6 months to actually realize, hey, I didn't really have to think about it that much. I just did what steps 1, 2, 3, and 4 because they're habit now, and I'm sleeping like a baby. Because you're giving your body that signal, that trigger that it's time to go to rest. So some people like to read a book, take a warm bath, practice meditation. My nighttime thing is I'll usually watch about an hour of TV. I have this tea that I like to drink, and it has valerian root in it. And I drink that, but not very much, you see, because you don't want to have liquids. They're going to get you up in the middle of the night. So just a little bit I have. And and then I will have a short meditation, but by the time I'm usually ready for my meditation, I'm falling asleep. So a nice relaxing bedtime routine. Pick something that works for you, that you actually do enjoy doing, that really doesn't have anything to do with your phone. I'll get a little bit more to that in a few minutes. Number 4, make your bedroom comfortable. Your bedroom should be dark, quiet, and a comfortable temperature, and invest in good mattresses and pillows. So we have a good mattress, we have good pillows, and we have blackout curtains in our room. The temperature is sometimes variable, but I can always kick off my covers. So that's something that I still work at. Month I'm freezing, sometimes in the month I'm hot. And that's just the way it goes at this point. And so I do my best. But that is something that I'm looking to improve. So possibly some cooling sheets or temper. Number 5, I believe we're on. Limit exposure to screens. So this one again is a piggyback on the last one, making your bedroom comfortable. Okay, so there's a lot of blue light. This is nothing that you haven't heard before. And it's emitted by screens, smartphones, tablets, computers, TVs, and it can disrupt your sleep patterns. What I recommend doing is avoid screens for at least an hour before bedtime. Or you can use like a blue light filter glasses. Actually, my glasses, like I wear gas permeable lenses, so my night glasses that I put on at the end of the day, they have blue blockers on them, and I think that that's why I'm able to watch TV. But if I scroll on my phone less than an hour before bedtime, I see it in my sleep. I feel it in my sleep. I'm going to share with you how I'm able to measure it and how I'm able to see the difference a little bit later after we go through these 8 pieces. One of the things that I was always grateful for is that my husband and I had agreed to no TVs in the bedroom, and we've always been like that. We've never had a TV in the bedroom. We almost did at one point, but then we decided no, It's not for us. We're going to just keep the TV out of the bedroom. And I'm super happy that we did, because now if I fall asleep in front of the TV, I have to walk myself to bed where it's dark and I'm ready for sleep. I still have one of those old-fashioned alarm clocks. I don't wake up with an alarm. That's something I recommend to do if you're looking to reset your circadian rhythm and you have the flexibility to do that, is just to go to bed when you're tired and wake up when you wake up. And do that for like a whole month, and you will set your circadian rhythm. As long as you abide by all these other guidelines, and you're not going way off the deep end some days and then, waking up early, like you got to adhere to that first one, which is make yourself a sleep schedule, so to speak, and then try your best to stick to that. And if you don't use an alarm for a month, you'll be able to figure out what is your natural wake time, and then you can reverse engineer from there. So limit that exposure to screens. The next one is to watch your diet. I know. Nobody likes to hear this, but heavy meals, caffeine, alcohol, close to bedtime, these things can interfere. Instead, if you're really super hungry in the evening, just eat light protein first. It doesn't spike up your insulin. I wear an Aura ring, which helps me to look at what happens and what affects my sleep. I've been wearing it now for almost 3 years, so I have a significant amount of data to prove, at least for myself, that if I have a glass of wine, my sleep suffers. I can have it at noon, but if I have it at 6, my sleep suffers. If I eat a heavy meal too close to bedtime, my sleep suffers. And those mornings when maybe you had a later meal and you feel like you've had a really great sleep, but you wake up and you're groggy. You're so tired. It's because your heart rate has been busy all night processing all of that food, and it's stopped you from having the better quality sleep that you could have. So it might mean you were less time in deep sleep. For me, it attacks my deep sleep. So I'll go from an average of 1.5 hours of deep sleep. If I have a glass of wine, I might have 5 minutes of deep sleep. And so that's over time, that significantly will make you feel more tired and groggy and all of the other symptoms that come with not having quality sleep. And you might not even be knowing it. So that's it. It's a big thing. I recommend instead, like just to stop eating about 3 hours before bed, and you're good. Have yourself a really a good meal, something that keeps you satiated. And like I said, if you're starving and it's an hour before bed, have something that's protein. Have a boiled egg. Have a couple of nuts. Have something that's not going to actually spike your insulin levels, because it's when those sugar levels go up, your body is having a harder time processing. Number 7 is to exercise regularly. Regular physical activity can improve your sleep quality, but again, this is something that you'll need to try and make sure that you're done at least 2 to 3 hours before bedtime, because it can actually get your energy up too high and just kind of mess with your sleep pattern there. That's a catch-22, right? If you're not getting great sleep, what makes you want to exercise? And if you're not getting great sleep, it's not the right time to do a workout that's like thrashing your body. It's not a good time to sign up for that boot camp, deprive your sleep, and punish your body. I'm laughing because, it's something that I've done. I used to, sometimes I would work late and then I'd get up at 5 in the morning to get that boot camp workout in for myself. And then I'd go to the gym and I'd teach a class and wonder why I'm so tired and I'm lacking sleep. Well, it's because I'm beating myself up, right? So instead, make a habit of, like, especially if your sleep is suffering like right now, make a habit of going for a 30-minute walk every single day. And that's alone is going to be, again, that might be your catalyst. That might be the thing that picks the rest of the locks for your sleep hygiene. It'll kind of, they cascade against one another, right? So pick the same time every day. And if you have troubles getting energy in the morning, make sure that you go for a lunchtime walk and just get it in to help your body in so many different ways. And walking is something that you really can't do too much of. You can't hurt your body. I mean, like, you don't want to be walking 20,000 steps a day or something unless that's like part of your lifestyle. I don't want you to go from 0 to 20,000. But if you're doing 0 or if you're doing 3,000, make it a goal to add 3 to 6,000 steps a day, and that is going to do wonders for your sleep and so many other things in your life. If you're wondering about how to even get started, I do have a walking program. I will make sure that it is linked below. The eighth thing that you want to do is manage your stress. We talked about this a little bit in the beginning. And stress and anxiety can make it really difficult to sleep, right? Am I right? But if you practice the relaxation techniques, ideally, this is part of your, sleep time routine with deep breathing, meditation, maybe some progressive muscle relaxation, and calm your mind before bedtime. There has been a few times here and there, like I'm a managing partner with my husband for a company called CE Analytics. And every once in a while, we'll get into one of those work discussions right before bed. And it kills my sleep. And again, I have the data from the Aura Ring to actually say, yeah, I know what I did. Oh, yeah. And so when we know better, we do better. I encourage you to give yourself permission to fail and practice to get better at these. Educate yourself. And if you've made all of these changes and it continues to plague you, it's time to seek a little bit of professional help. There's also a ton of sleep tracking wearables. I choose the Aura Ring because if I have something on my wrist when I'm sleeping, I'm actually thinking about, am I getting a good sleep? And I wake myself up thinking, am I getting a good sleep? With the Aura Ring, I don't feel it on my fingers, so it's like the most non-invasive trackable I've seen. I'll share a link to them, and this is not a sponsored video or anything. I don't have an affiliate link for them, but I do have a link that allows me to share with my friends, and I think you get a discount off. I've done some research. Whoop, I think, comes in second. Whoop, WHOOP, but I have no experience with it whatsoever. I want to know what you are going to focus on first. What's one thing, 1 to 2 things out of everything we've discussed here that you feel like you can improve? And what's your goal? Share with me in the comments below. And if this was helpful to you, make sure you give it a like and a thumbs up and comment below what you liked about it or what you didn't like about it. That helps this video and this podcast be pushed out to more people, which, I record it for you. So that'd be really, really helpful for all of us. Thanks again for tuning in, and I will see you again next week. Next week, I'm going to talk about sleeping with your phone. It's not going to be a fun topic, but thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.